this next lick, we're going to depart a little bit from the more bluesy pentatonic sound we had and move to a more straight up major sound. Now, I mentioned before, typically when we're playing an instrument, the major scale is the first thing you learn. And there are instances where when somebody's learning a guitar, they focus on the major scale at first, but I wanted to focus more on the more kind of directly easy positions, in my opinion, and then wait to get into something like the major scale. So now we're in the full major scale, and we have this kind of, I almost think of it as like a 90s folk kind of alternative, you know, sound going on. Whatever it is that you maybe necessarily associate with the genre, we're using the major scale to get around this and to create a melody. So let's talk about some of these notes we're using and just walk through the lick. And then in the next lesson, we'll actually introduce what this full major scale is. So to start off, I'm playing the 5th fret of the D string and the 4th fret of the G string. So I'm using my middle finger here on this 5th fret and then my index finger here on this 4th fret. You'll also notice, and this isn't a necessity, I really liked the sound of sustaining these two notes at the same time. So this is now, I'm starting to play almost like a mini little chord here, right? If I play it within the context of this lower G, it's making a G major chord, which is pretty cool, right? So it sounds very just kind of melodic and like I'm playing exactly what's in the chord, because that's pretty much what I'm doing, right? I'm playing the root and the 3rd of this chord. So I start off playing the 5th fret of D, then the 4th fret of G, and I'm having them sustain. Again, if you need to just play them one at a time, that's also fine. Just something that I think adds a little bit more personality to it. So I play these two notes, then I go back to the 5th fret of the D string, and then I play the 4th fret of the D string and bring my middle finger over to the 5th fret of A. Right? So this is what I think of as the main part of the lick, and which is going to have the most movement for us. So again, I'm playing the 5th fret of D, up to the 4th fret of G. Now I'm back down to D, and I'm playing 5, 4, and then bringing my middle finger over to the 5th fret of A. So we have, right? And again, if I was to listen to those chord changes, right, it's G to D. You can hear how, even if I'm not playing those chords, right, the notes that I'm playing are within the chords. So this is another concept that we're introducing now. The more we play lead, the more you're going to find out that, okay, there's these chords that are working under us, right? There's a chord progression. And when, even though I'm playing a scale, within that scale, there's going to be notes of all of these individual chords, right? We're in a G major sound right now, and this is a G major scale, but the notes of all these chords that I'm playing are within G major. So what I'm doing is saying, okay, I know I have these 7 notes available to me, and again, we're going to talk about what the scale is after this lick, but let me highlight some of the different notes going by in each of these scales. So in my G, I highlighted these notes, which are both in G major, and in D, I did the same exact thing, right? But just to D major. Now again, you don't need to memorize these positions that I'm doing. We're not talking about the technique. I'm just letting you know why this sounds the way it does and why these link up so well with the chords. So that's the first part of my lick. All right, now I'm going to do this. So now I'm going to go over to the 5th fret of the low E string and then the 3rd fret of the A string. Now same thing, I was choosing to hold these out. This is probably a pretty tricky position if you're beginning, so I would just play these one at a time. And then I'm going to end this lick with this tiny little walk up. So I'm going to do the 2nd fret of D, and then the 4th fret of D, and then I'm back here. So same thing when we get here. This was over an A minor chord. You can hear I'm really outlining that chord nicely, and then playing just the 2nd fret of D, and then the 4th fret of D, and that's my whole lick. So let's try this once more with the backing track. again, this was a lick using the G major scale, and now in this next lesson, we're going to actually talk about what the major scale is, how we play it in other keys, and what its main purpose is.